Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining me, Joey. Great to have you on.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, Matt.
Awesome. So, one of the things that I always like to do at the beginning of this show is get a bit of the backstory. I'm curious about how you got into business and specifically online business. Can you kind of walk us through your story a little bit to where you are today?
Yeah, sure thing. So I basically started out online in 2012. The way that I got there was I basically got a background in sales. I started doing sales pretty much after I left education, about 17, 18 years old. Started off in door-to-door sales, which is like the worst job ever. But it pretty much set me up for all my like following sales jobs after that. It helped me build some thick skin. Got into like corporate sales and eventually into like selling like big scale government events in the UK, which is pretty fun to be honest. Like you get to learn some pretty interesting stuff. But basically, I moved up and up, got into like a management role doing sales, and in 2012 I got laid off from my job. And what ended up happening was there was a big thing in the UK where getting a job was becoming harder and harder. Still exists today. But right now it's like so hard to get a job. And in 2012, it was like pretty much that peak point where it was so difficult. So after I lost my job, it was very hard to go and get another job, like just like walking into a job. Like I used to be able to do it all the time. And it was very weird. Like at the time, it was like I just couldn't get a job. I had a lot of experience, but it just wasn't happening. And it was kind of a blessing in disguise because at the time I was kind of like speaking to my fiance at the time. We were engaged at the time. And I was just saying, like, honestly, I really don't want to work anymore because I'd worked so many jobs, kind of jumping around to different places, and just wasn't my kind of thing. I didn't like working for anyone. I wasn't the best employee at all. I've been laid off a couple of times just because I'm not a great employee. Put my hands up and admit it. But I basically said to my missus, like, I just got to do my own thing. She wasn't too happy about it because we were engaged and we were supposed to be getting married and all this stuff, and there was a lot of pressure to pay for the wedding and stuff like that. And you know, it wasn't easy. Like it was pretty tough because she was pretty much supporting me like at the time, because when I lost my job it was like, well, there's no money coming in anymore, so she was kind of like the breadwinner, if you will. And it was a pretty difficult time. And yeah, I just stumbled online. I just literally just went to Google, typed in how do I make money online. It was like, it seemed to be like the craze, like everyone's making money online. So I thought it would be easy. And I pretty much just landed into this minefield of information.
Yep.
And had no idea where to start. I looked at so many different things, affiliate marketing and like the whole SEO thing, building micro niche websites, writing books and articles and all kinds of stuff that was just like pulling me into too many different directions. And eventually, I basically stumbled across the Warrior Forum at the time, which was kind of like the breeding ground for marketers at the time, and ran into some old school marketers and people that were basically teaching others about doing product launches and that kind of thing. And I kind of figured, okay, well, if I was going to create a product, what would I make it about? And basically, I've always been into video. I've been making videos since I was a child, pretty much. Like since I was a kid, as soon as I got my hand on a camera, it was pretty much like just dazzled me. I was entertained by the idea of taking pictures and shooting videos, and I always have. And I kind of have grown up doing video as a hobby. I've done videos for like little companies, like local companies, shooting ads and things like that, but not as a living. I never really made a lot of money from it, but I was very good at it. And people would hire me to just film all kinds of things, weddings, documentaries, all kinds of stuff. And I just used to love doing it. I didn't do it for money. I just really enjoyed making videos because I like the creative aspect of it. And I was talking to another marketer at the time, and he was just like, "Why don't you just teach businesses how to make videos for their business, basically?" And that was pretty much what sparked the idea initially. And I started creating my first product on how to essentially create a good-looking video that would help you sell your products and services. I've done that in March 2012, and that was pretty much the start. I released that in March. I'd done pretty well with that. Like at the time, it was amazing because it was like I'd sold like 2,000 copies or something at the time, and I thought it was amazing. Like because I made money on the internet. It was like it was like fake money because it was like just money coming out of nowhere, basically like digital money. But that was really cool because it helped me pay for the wedding, took the pressure off, and kind of helped me go on a honeymoon and all that kind of good stuff. And then yeah, like that pretty much got me the kickstart in the whole marketing thing. It wasn't a business at all. It was just a product that I put out, made some money. It wasn't a business, but it definitely got my head around the concept of selling something online.
Very cool. So yeah, it's interesting because there's so much of that story that I resonate with so much. Like when I quit my job, I was actually engaged during that time, and my wife was pretty much fully supporting me while I was trying to start up my business. And we actually ended up getting married before I even started internet marketing. But I bought a couple books about marketing to read while I was on my honeymoon, and I was reading about it on my honeymoon. So I got home, and then I think I discovered the Warrior Forum. This was back in about '09, and
Sounds like the same story.
yeah. So now, when it comes to video stuff, did you have any formal training in video, or was it all just pretty much self-taught?
Honestly, I get asked this question a lot. Like, I've never gone to school or anything for it. I've just been gifted with a little skill of shooting good videos. Like, I've always been creative, to be honest. Like, I like making music. I like drawing and stuff like that. I'm sitting in my music studio right now. Like, if I tilt this down a little bit, you'll see my little MPC pad here, and then under here I've got like my big keyboard.
Oh, that's awesome.
I just like anything to do with like arts, and I just pick it up. Like, I like playing guitar, I like playing piano. I've just always been good at it, and it's one of those things. Like, if you speak to any musicians and things like that, or any filmmakers, none of them are making any money. They're all broke artists.
Yeah.
And I was just one of those broke artists, to be honest. Like, I didn't really have a way of making money with it.
Yeah.
But I was good at it. So coming online, it was amazing because it was like, I can really use this to try and build something or teach someone something to make some money. So that's what was pretty cool about it. But no, I've not been taught. I've just practiced a lot, played around a lot, watched a lot of tutorials.
Oh, that's so funny too, because I was in a band. I played guitar, so when I was quitting my job, I was kind of in this mindset of like the band's gonna make it kind of thing. At the same time, I was trying to teach myself internet marketing.
Yeah, it doesn't happen, does it?
Not for most, I guess. But now you actually helped with Josh and I when we did our product called VidForce, and there was some training in there from you about like the fundamentals and the rule of thirds.
Oh yeah,
and, a lot of that kind of stuff. Now, where did you get that information? Like, how did you learn about those fundamentals, the composition type stuff?
I think like just as I grew up, like I really liked cinematography. Like I like watching movies just to see how they shot a movie. Like I could appreciate it for what it is, kind of thing. If you know what I'm trying to say. And I guess like you learn the rules like as you kind of go. Like I watch a lot of like cinema, like a lot. Like I digest myself in films like ridiculous amounts. And you just pick it up on the way. Like I didn't know the exact terminology. A lot of the stuff that I talk about in those videos is things that I've kind of come up with. Like they're real rules, but they're probably not the official names. Like, like they're just things that I came up with. The rule of thirds is one thing that's pretty popular, so I know that. I know the basics. But like now, like I know a lot more now. You know, like kind of through the years, like and reading into it and stuff. And but it's just I just picked it up as I went. Honestly, like I think one of the big things is like if anybody wants to learn anything, like nowadays you can just go online and learn pretty much whatever you want. Like there's nothing stopping you from learning. So it's just if you want to learn it really. Like, and that's what I did. Is just there's like editing stuff and things like that as well. Like I didn't know how to like edit videos or cut videos correctly, and I had to learn all that just on YouTube and just watching videos. So you can just pick it up as you go.
Yeah, very cool. Now, you said that you went on the Warrior Forum and kind of started studying marketing and figuring out all these different paths you can go down. I think that's where most sort of wannabe marketers sort of get lost and they never go forward, is because there are so many different paths you can take, right? You can go on there and you can learn about e-commerce. You can learn about, arbitrage, where you run ads and get more money on the split and ad costs. There's like, there's hundreds of different paths you can take in the online marketing world. Do you remember what sort of led you down that sort of like info marketing teaching path?
Yeah, like I think the biggest thing for me was that there's always two. I can't even remember who told me this, but I think it was Brendan Bouchard. I was watching doing a live presentation on stage. And he was just talking about how, you have creators. Like, and I don't know if you've watched Brendan Bouchard, but he always has this thing where he goes, "I'm a creator," and he gets everyone to put their hand up and says, "I'm a creator."
Uh-huh.
And the reason he says it is because he talks about how like you can either be a creator or you can be a consumer. And I just always wanted to be on the creating side, and like that's how I've always been. To be honest, is I like making things, I like building things.
Yeah.
And I just thought it would be really fun to try and build like a course. Like it'd be really cool. And like now that I've kind of gone through the paces of business, like I understand that you always want to be on the side of creating things. You want to be building value and making value, right? Rather than buying it.
Right.
It doesn't mean you can't buy things. I mean, I still buy things,
Yeah.
but it just means like if you want to, I just see it as the people that make the most money are the ones that are giving value and building things. So
Yeah.
I just thought, I probably want to be that guy. I want to be the one that sells a lot of stuff. So I need to make something to sell.
Oh, absolutely. Now, are you still selling info products and training courses to this day?
Not so much now.
Yeah.
I kind of transitioned away from it a little bit. I have it in my head that I'd like to make some more because I really enjoy doing info products. Like I miss it quite a bit, to be honest.
Right.
I haven't done it in like 2 years now, so it's been some time.
Oh, wow.
But no, I'm not doing it right now.
Was the
I'm
last
not
one
doing it
that
right now.
Screencast Pro?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I remember
And
that
that
one.
was quite some time ago now. Yeah. You guys actually talked about that to your audience. Yeah, that was a good one.
So,
a fun one to make. Yeah.
So you're more kind of in the software world now. How did you transition from info product to software? What's the next sort of progression of your journey there?
I think basically what happened was again like I just look at people that I want to emulate, to be honest, and I'm looking at people like Elon Musk, Richard Branson, and just big tycoon entrepreneurs and people that are changing the world basically. And I'm like, what are those guys doing that is different to the people that I'm hanging out with right now? And the thing is like the info marketing thing is really big, and I think you can make it very big. But my knowledge on video is like it's just about video. So it's like, okay, if I talk to people about making videos and how they can make better videos, there's a certain number of people I can affect with that. There's a certain audience I can affect with that. Like, how do I sell more stuff and how do I reach more people? Well, you got to essentially solve bigger problems.
Right.
Is the kind of the answer that I came up with. I don't know if it's the right answer, but it's the answer that I came up with at the time was I probably need to solve a bigger problem. Right. So I looked at, well, if I want to solve bigger problems, I've got to do something that I can't essentially do right now, like, because there's only so much I can teach. So software was kind of like the logical thing to look at, because it's like software can affect millions of people, millions of businesses. It's not necessarily stuff that you have to learn and apply. You can just, if it's software that can give you a result straight away, then maybe that's something that I could do. Maybe that's something I can look at. So that was kind of the thinking of it, and I wanted to start exploring that a little bit.
Right. Now, we're going to talk about videos in a few minutes here, but I'm curious, when you decided on that videos platform, what was the thinking with that software? What problem were you solving, and how did you come up with that idea?
Well, basically, just to explain the way it came to that was I started launching a couple of different software products, like after Screencast Pro.
Uh-huh.
I launched 2 software products and they both bombed. And the reason they bombed was because they were too complicated. So, and essentially what I realized was that if I want to build something that's going to be like successful, I need to make something that's going to essentially be easy to use and can get results quickly, basically. Mm-hmm. The products that I was basically working on before were complex, and they weren't the best kind of products to be pushing out into the mainstream market. Like they just weren't good. Right. Basically, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from those 2 failures, and I thought, okay, well, we need to do something like a little bit simpler. And I basically had an idea to do something that could essentially create intros and outros. Like it's something that I've always wanted to do, like in my own video content, but couldn't really do it because I don't know how to use After Effects. Mm-hmm. I could go to places like Video Hive or Fiverr and do it that way, but then the thing with that is I'm still having to get somebody else to do it. So I thought, well, why can't we make something where we can get a result just as quick as that? Well, faster than that, but at the same kind of quality. And that's basically how it was born. It was like, we want to basically create intros and outros, but we don't want to have to outsource it. We don't want to have to learn really complicated software. So that's when I met David and Jamie, because after the 2 software products, it was like, I clearly am not good at getting software made. Like I'm just not the best guy for it. So I wanted to team up with someone that basically has the experience with it. Now, the cool thing with David and Jamie is they already had a SaaS platform outside of internet marketing.
Uh-huh.
And that felt like the right thing to do because they'd already built like a pretty successful business like as a SaaS, like away from the marketing world.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, these guys clearly know what they're doing. They've built a long sustained platform. So why don't I take it to these guys? And they loved the idea. They went and spoke to like a developer that they had found that said that he could do it. They mocked up like an example of the way it would work, and that was pretty much it. Like we figured out we could do it. We got proof of concept and basically moved forward from there and started building it.
Now, how did you get introduced to those guys, your partners?
Honestly, just online. You know, like I knew who they were. I'd seen a couple of their products before and stuff online, and thought that they made some pretty cool looking software.
Mm-hmm.
And just reached out to them, just simple message,
Oh, very
and
cool.
they liked the idea, so that was it.
Very cool. Yeah, David Chamberlain and we go back quite a bit. We actually now did you ever do the coaching program with Alex Jeffries?
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah,
Yeah, I know David because I did a coaching program back with Alex back in 2009, and I think David was in that. So him and I go way back, and then I feel like I didn't really hear about him again until he started doing the video stuff with you again, because I know he kind of moved out of the internet marketing space for a while. But that's cool.
Yeah.
I've always been a big partner guy. I always sort of partner with people on pretty much every project I do to
yeah,
find the people that shore up the weaknesses that I feel I have. So, I think there's some wisdom in that alone, that just going and finding those people that the areas that you feel weak in, you go and find those people.
yeah. Like honestly, like I didn't used to like the idea of doing partnerships. I always wanted to do things myself because I just thought I could do it better. But it's stupid thinking, stupid. It's like just ignorance, really. Like just young in business and not really understanding like that you can't really do it all yourself. Even now, like with the guys, it started out just as like a launch partnership thing, but now we've formed a company, we've got equal shares, and we're actually in business together like full time. So it's like it's grown into a proper partnership. We've got 20 staff, and it's growing really well. Like it's like, and that never would have happened if I didn't get out of that box. To be honest.
Yeah. Very cool. So I'm going to shift the focus a little bit. Let's talk about some video a little bit. Why do you think video is important for businesses?
It's absolutely the number one way to sell something. Like nowadays you can still use text. Don't get me wrong. Copy still sells, and it always will forever. But video is just one of those things that it's an everyday part of our life now. You look at like Snapchat. You look at like even like on Facebook, like the most highest engaging posts now on Facebook are your video posts. Like video ads are taking over. YouTube, I think it's like ridiculous stat on YouTube. It's like I think every 60 seconds there's like literally more than 150 videos being uploaded within 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's like insane amounts of content that's being uploaded. And that just basically tells me one thing, that video is pretty much the primary content driver for any kind of information. So no matter what it is you're selling, you need to be using video pretty much. Like it's all out there. There's proven studies that have shown like that video helps to sell better conversions, better engagement, builds more trust, builds more rapport. So the question really is why not, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess video is just a more efficient way at really connecting with your audience than just, somebody reading off of a page or even just listening to audio. Obviously, when I do my podcast, I try to make a video version as well, just so that the audience can connect with, me and my guest even better, So I totally agree with you. Now, when it comes to video, what are some of the ways that you use video in your business or that you recommend other people use video in their business?
Well, we try to do content pretty much every single week for our audience. We send out, it doesn't have to be the prettiest thing ever as well. We do like short little rough blog type videos where we're just, shooting a little bit of content about what we're doing for the day. I think just a couple of weeks ago, we flew out to Dublin for an event and we filmed the whole event, just not properly, but just like walking around with a camera, just filming it and just talking nonsense, to be honest. But and like our audience loved it, like they ate it up because it's like they get to see inside of our lives. And I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned this year, especially, is that vulnerability is a very, very like admirable thing for your audience. And if you can show people on video that you're not always the best on video, or you're not always like the most slickly produced guy like in your video, like they kind of like that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And they like seeing the vulnerability. So I would just say, like, just start shooting videos with whatever you have, even if it's your phone, and just start shooting content. You know, show people what you do, show them what you do in your business, what your struggles are, what your successes are. You know, we use it everywhere we can. Sales videos, content videos, in our funnels, pretty much everywhere you look for any of our content, there'll be a video somewhere.
Yeah. Now, when you shoot videos like the behind the scenes at the Dublin event that you were just in, do you have any sort of call to action for that, or is that just purely to build the engagement and to build some rapport with your audience?
Yeah, it depends. You know, like it depends on what we're trying to do with the content. Like a lot of the content we do kind of off the cuff doesn't always have a call to action. It's just we're just building brand awareness. We're just trying to build better rapport with our audience. So we don't necessarily want to tell them to go buy anything or do anything. You know, we have a pop up on our blog. You know, people opt in, and we don't necessarily force the opt ins or anything. People just opt in, and I think those opt ins probably work better than the ones that where you're actually telling people to opt in, because people don't feel like they're forced to do it. They just go in because they're actually really enjoying your content. I could be wrong there. You probably know more with your blog experience, but I find like when we mail our blog readers, they're so responsive. You know, they're very, very responsive because they've volunteered to just, I really like the content these guys put out, so I want to check it out.
Now, do you put video content on the blog, or is the blog like a mix of written and video?
It's a little bit of a mix. You know, we tried to put a video in with written content because some people do prefer to read, so we try and get both kind of angles. But yeah, we do a bit of both.
Yeah, and so let me see here. When you were out in Dublin, what kind of equipment do you use for just kind of filming behind the scenes, or is that mostly just like iPhone, just off the cuff?
We purchased it's called a G7X, a Canon G7X. It's like a vlog. It's basically built to vlog. Like you can I got the box for it right here. Actually. It's this camera right here, the Canon G7X, and basically you can I don't know if you can see like this picture right here, but you can see that you can basically point it at yourself and the screen points at you. Cool. So you could basically film yourself doing selfie videos like just by holding the camera. It's very small. It's pretty inexpensive. I think it cost me like £300, so it'd be like, I don't know, $500 or so. And it's very good. Like it's good quality, and that's literally all I took to Dublin.
Wow! And it looks like a little point and shoot camera. Is it actually designed for video?
Yeah, so it's designed for video. You can take pictures as well, but it's designed for video. It's point and shoot, so it's very small, compact. You can put it in your pocket. It's the perfect kind of thing you want, like if you're on the go. I've got a big camera that we shoot all our professional videos with, but you don't want to be carrying something like that around for, you know, quick off the cuff videos. So that's why we bought it, just to shoot some quick things, and it's very good. Just
out of curiosity, what kind of camera what is your big camera?
A big camera is a Canon C300 Mark II. It's a professional grade cinema camera, and they shoot like they've used that camera on some pretty big films and stuff that you've probably seen in the movies.
Very cool. Are there any other idea or any other ways that you tend to recommend people use videos in their business? Let's say, so you've got like vlog type content that kind of builds rapport, behind the scenes kind of stuff. You've got, you know, your video sales letters for when you're sort of pitching a product. You know, what other sorts of video ideas do you have for people to use in their business?
We do a lot of video ads, you know, like we use Facebook ads to drive people to various types of different stuff. Right now we're doing like a pretty drawn out pre-launch sequence for videos. And the way we're doing it is we're just running Facebook ads, showing them basically what the software does, and just having a simple link in the post for people to go and opt in to hear more about the launch when it goes live. And there's no direct call to action, but it's working like gangbusters right now. Like the teaser's got a lot of engagement. Like I think it's got like 300 likes now. We've done like 20,000, 30,000 views on it. So it's just working really well. And we've built a list, I think close to about 2,000 people with that one video. So now all of a sudden we've got this really nice warmed up list that we can talk to as soon as the product goes live and we can mail it. So that's one thing that we love doing. We love running video ads because I think Facebook does a very, very good job of distributing video content, especially video ads right now. And it's cheap, like very cheap.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, I
that's
think,
probably one of the big things now.
I think Facebook is trying to establish themselves as a much bigger video platform than what they used to be. So they're really trying to push that. They're also, I think, trying to step into Google Plus's territory with their live stuff too, and sort of take over what Hangouts has done in the past too. So it's an interesting time for that video stuff.
Yeah, and this is the thing, like every year, honestly, like I always hear people say like video is the future, but it's like the thing is like video is always going to be the best medium until we start having real virtual reality where things are walking around us. Video is always going to be the number one thing because we're just so used to it. We're preconditioned to watching television. We do it for hours and hours every day. It's content that we enjoy consuming. So I think that's why it works so well, to be honest. People are just used to it, and people like consuming it, so it works.
Now, do you have any advice for somebody who is uncomfortable on camera? Maybe they've never shot their first video, but they want to start to dive into putting some video ads online, or they want to start to do a vlog type thing, but they've never done it before, and they're nervous, they're uncomfortable in front of camera. I know the first time I ever did a video, it's not pretty. So
yeah, the first video I shot was pretty bad. You just get first thing is, I think honestly the best advice I can give is just do it, because the longer you delay it by, it's like you'll just kick yourself when you do start doing it. Like I wish I started doing it sooner, because I used to have those same fears. I hate being on camera. I like being the guy behind the camera and shooting the videos, but I absolutely hate being on camera. But I've gotten used to it. It's funny, David, actually, one of my business partners, he doesn't like getting on camera, and when we first started, he was pretty uncomfortable on camera. And as we're kind of doing more and more content, I can see him getting better and better and getting more comfortable as he does it more and more. So really the best advice is to get started now and just get used to putting your face out there, because that's what people like the most. I could say, use Camtasia, do some screen capture videos and all that. But honestly, like that stuff doesn't compare to when you're actually on camera. It just doesn't. I get my best results when I'm on camera, when I'm in front of someone, and I enjoy watching that content more, as I'm sure you probably enjoy watching people rather than slides.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like naturally, we're not in a position where we want to be reading something in a video, because the whole point of a video is to listen and watch someone moving rather than reading.
Right.
So if you want to read, then you may as well use sales copy, because it's literally the same thing. So you're better off being on camera. That's my feelings on it anyway. I would just honestly get on with it. If you've got an iPhone, which most people do, or a Samsung, just record some iPhone videos, get them on YouTube, and see what happens. A lot of people have a fear that people are going to criticize them, but it never happens. It never happens. People never have ever said to me like anything negative about being on camera. So, and I've never seen anybody else get bashed either.
It's funny. I think the very first video I ever made, I was really nervous to make it. I felt really, really uncomfortable, but I said, screw it. And I just put it out there. And I think the feedback I got was, wow, you're really good on camera. But I watched that video back today and I'm like, no, I wasn't. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
But I think younger generations too, it's going to be interesting, because I think they're more and more comfortable on video.
Yeah.
We're in like a Snapchat generation, a FaceTime, a Google, Google Hangout, a Skype generation, where everybody's so used to being on video now that I think the younger generations are going to have the issue. But I agree. It's great advice. Just kind of get out there and just start doing it. I actually want to jump back to something you were talking about a minute ago with the Facebook ads, because I'm just kind of I'm curious about the sort of breakdown of what you're doing with the Facebook video ads. So you have a video that's essentially a sneak peek inside of the software, and then on that video, if they click on it, it takes them to some sort of opt-in page. Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's pretty much all we're doing right now. We've got two different ads running. We've got like an image ad, which is basically just a freeze frame of the video, and it just goes to the same video. And then we've got the actual video from the page, and then it just goes and links to the page where they can basically leave a comment and then opt in for updates.
Yeah.
So nothing super complex. There's not like multiple pieces of content. It's just the same video that we're circulating
And
with an image and a video ad.
and so they're literally just opting in for just updates about the software.
Yeah, it's just we're basically just saying, leave a comment, opt in, and we'll let you know as soon as videos is available. The content is what's really driving it because the way that we like doing the content is just we pick out some really good music, we pick out basically all the best animations that the software makes, and we jumble it together and just make a very short, very cool little video to watch, and that's it. Now, if you're selling something completely different, it's just a case of finding the best things to talk about. Like what does the software do? What does your product do or info product do that's going to help someone? Same kind of thing. You just want to make a good looking quirky video. Now, like honestly, like I would take a point to say like if you can't shoot a professional video, I would just hire someone to do it for you because I think like personally over this past year especially, like what's really helped the brand to grow is the quality of the presentations. Now, I know like there's a saying that you should just kind of, even if it's a rough video, it doesn't matter, just put it up, which is definitely true. If you're just getting started, definitely do that. But there's different stages and there's different phases and there's different types of videos. Like if we're doing a blog video, we're not going to spend money to try and hire someone, or we're not going to spend hours and hours trying to put the video together. We just want to shoot a rough and tough video with our little camera, and just put it out there, and that's fine. But if we're making a video that's about brand awareness and is about about being professional and being the best, being better than our competitors, then we want to go all out and make the best video that we can. If we're trying to sell the thing to people that don't know anything about us, then we want to make the best thing that we can, and then we go all out with it. We use our best equipment. We get good music, and the thing is, a lot of people might not be able to shoot those videos. So what I would say to them is, number one, just hire a videographer. You can get like a college student or just someone from Upwork who's just wanting to get some experience for very, very little money. Some of our videographers, we pay them like, I don't know, it's like ridiculous amounts, like $50 or $40 for the day to just go out and shoot some videos. We've got a website called broll.videos.com, which is basically a free resource where you can download like stock footage. So we have like 8 or 9 kind of videographers that go around, travel, and they just shoot videos, and we pay them very little money, but it's because they're students and they don't mind, they like shooting video. Now, you can easily find someone like that on Upwork. That's where we found him. You get someone to come out, shoot your video, and then you just, if they don't have a great camera, you can hire a camera. Now, the camera that I use, the C300, is like a $20,000 camera. So I'm not saying to go and spend 20 grand on a camera. You can probably hire the camera for like $200-$300 for a day. So all of a sudden you're spending $300, maybe $400. You got a cinema grade camera. You've got a videographer that can probably shoot video better than you, and you've got a really good video. And you could probably get the same guy to edit it for like $100 or something. So my point is that I wouldn't discount yourself. Like if you don't have the equipment or you don't have like loads of money, you can still get a very good looking video on a string budget, pretty much just by outsourcing it. So yeah, if you're making something like for an ad, like I would say just get some people that are qualified to do it, and you'll 100% get a better result with it. That's what I think anyway.
Now, what did you say that stock video site was?
B-roll, so BROLL.videos.com.
Okay.
And you can download like a whole bunch of stock footage for free. It's just a free resource we give away for anybody that just needs some footage, and basically we just use it as lead gen. People opt in, and then we drive them back to the main app, basically.
Gotcha. Now, what sort of scenarios would somebody use the stock footage for?
So if you're a videographer, or you're just an editor that basically needs to use some footage for like certain scenes in a video, that's the kind of footage that they'd want, and that's pretty much the kind of person that might want to create an intro or an outro for that same video. So that was the thinking behind it. Is video editors are most likely going to be the ones who need that kind of footage, or small business owners who don't have the footage and don't have the camera to go out and shoot it. They might want to use that footage, and both those people can pretty much use videos to make intros and outros. So that was kind of the thinking behind it.
So one thing that just kind of comes to mind is like, let's say I'm flying over to Ireland or something to shoot some behind the scenes footage. Maybe like one of my first shots would be like an airplane taking off. Instead of going to like the airport and getting my camera and setting it up and trying to get a shot of an airplane taking off, you could go to a site like that and just merge that
Yeah,
footage into your thing.
exactly. That's it, man. That's exactly what it's for.
Very cool.
Kind of
Very
thing.
cool. Now, where do you recommend people go and get audio and music and stuff for their videos? Because you can't just go on Spotify and download a song and throw it on your video.
No, you can't. We get all our music from a site called musicbed.com, which is it's basically a music site for cinematographers, and they have some amazing music. Now, they're not the cheapest. You do have to pay for a license, and a license can cost anywhere between $50 to $100 to use a track. So it's not the cheapest site, but their music's, you won't find better music anywhere else.
Cool.
If you want to find lower cost music and maybe not as amazing, places like Audio Jungle are fine. There's another site called Audio Network, which is another really good site, pretty inexpensive to get a license there as well. Those are pretty much the three places we go. I don't really use Audio Jungle anymore because I think I hear those songs everywhere.
Yeah,
like those tracks, I hear them pretty much in every video, and I hate using those tracks now. But if you're just starting out, it's not going to matter. Just use Audio Jungle. It's like you can get a track for like $5.
Yeah.
So it's very, very inexpensive, to be honest.
Very cool. Now, do you have any sort of tips or shortcuts for people trying to get into video to just kind of get stuff up there quickly?
I would just say start with your iPhone or your mobile phone, because nowadays they shoot pretty good HD videos, so you don't necessarily have to go and spend money right now. If you need a video editor, Camtasia is good and it's not too expensive. If you don't want to spend any money, you can download a video editor called Shotcut, which is basically an open source free video editor. It's pretty good for a free editor, and it can do not everything the big ones can do, but it's open source, so it's actually pretty decent, and it gets developed by some pretty good developers. So Shotcut's really good. It's free, iPhone, and you've got pretty much the two things that you need to start making videos. Upload your videos to YouTube, Vimeo. It's free, and you can pretty much get started for free, like all the way. To be honest,
Yeah.
And the more money you start spending, the better your videos will start looking. But you don't have to do that right away. So
cool. So let's jump over to videos and talk about that. Can you sort of give us an explanation of what videos does exactly and where businesses could use it?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, it's a web-based animation tool that basically allows you to create animated intros and outros, as well as other animated elements for your videos. Now, just to give you some examples, if you ever go to YouTube and you watch somebody's kind of YouTube channel, like a big guy on YouTube, they normally have like a logo stinger, which is basically like an animation that shows off their logo right at the start of the video. So what videos can do is you can basically log in, you can choose from a whole wide array of logo stinger templates, upload your logo into the app, and then the app will basically spit out your logo animation after a couple of minutes of rendering in the cloud. So you don't need to edit anything, you don't need to know anything, you literally just upload a logo, pick a template, and it will spit the animation out. So it's pretty cool. You don't need any software because it's in the cloud. And then you can, and now with the new version, you can basically render out like animations throughout the video. So if you want to have like a lower third, which is basically it would be like a name badge that shows up like at the bottom of your video like that.
Right.
You can basically like type your text, hit render, and it'll create a little name badge that you can put on your video. You can do outros. So if you have call to actions like opt in below or click this button or whatever, you can have a bunch of different outros at the end of your video as well. You can render like arrows and speech bubbles, and you can basically do all kinds of little effects now as well. Because before it used to be just intros and outros, but now it's like intros and outros and everything in between as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't make full videos. It basically spits out elements. So if you've got a video editor, again, if you've got like Shotcut, you can just drag all those animations into Shotcut, shoot your video on your iPhone, and you can stick all these elements around the video to make it look more professional.
Yeah, and that would work with ScreenFlow and Camtasia and all those tools as well.
Yeah, it spits out a standard MP4 video, so you can use it pretty much wherever you want.
That's cool. So the MP4 it's like a transparent background kind of thing, so it just overlays. Is that how it works, or?
So the MP4s are like normal animation. So if you have like a stinger at the start of your video, that'll be like a normal animation.
Right.
If you want the transparent ones, that's like a lower third because it will basically overlay on the video. Those are .mov files.
Okay.
So different kind of file because it uses something called alpha, and alpha is basically what we've built into our animation engine. Like So there's not a lot of places right now where you can go and actually render out alpha animations. Like you'll find it hard to find.
Uh-huh.
So I'm pretty happy to say that we're one of the first people to do that, and it's very exciting, like to be able to do that. But yeah, you can basically animate, you can render out straight alpha elements for your video, and then just drop them into your video editor, and you're good to go.
Yeah, no, that's so cool. I remember playing with the original version and making intros and outros. In fact, there's an intro that goes before every one of these podcast videos on YouTube, and I think it was from the original version of videos with my logo, and it kind of spins in. So, that's kind of an example of what it does at the beginning of this video.
Nice.
So,
yeah, you got to go back in because there's like there's so much more now. From before. Like there's hundreds of templates now. So and it's gotten a lot better as time's gone on. Because when we first done it, it was like pretty brand new technology. But now it's like the animation team's grown and they've gotten a lot better over time as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at it now, you'll see the animations they're very nice.
Yeah,
they're good.
No, it's an awesome tool, and it's I used to do it the old-fashioned way where I'd go on like a Video Hive and try to find an animation and pay a bunch of money for the animation. Then I'd go on Fiverr and find somebody who knew how to use After Effects and then have them render out the video. And then you got to go, and what always seems to happen is they don't tell you on Video Hive is that they don't come with the sound. You just get the animation, right? So you just get that animation, and then you go hire somebody on Fiverr, and they make it, and it's like silent, and then you got to go back and get that sound, and then overlay the sound again onto the animation, and then it's kind of a big pain in the butt every single time you do it. So videos.
That's exactly it. We literally built it so that we didn't have to have all those problems. Like now you can basically just click a button in the app, and the audio essentially just gets attached to the video, so you don't have to do anything. Like as soon as it spits it out, the audio and the video is attached together now.
Yeah.
Before it used to be separate, but now it's like all in one. So it's a lot faster than Video Hive.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, I mean, I haven't even seen the latest version of it yet, so I need to get in there and play around with it some more. I'm excited to play with it, but I mean, it definitely saves a ton of time, and anybody who's doing video will absolutely love it. I love all the new stuff that I can't wait to play with the little lower thirds and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be really fun to play with. So where can actually, before I go there, do you have any book recommendations that can either be on the topic of video like we talked about today, or just overall business books that you recommend to people a lot?
Yeah, like I think the three best books that I always read again and again are. The first one is Mastery by Robert Greene. That's an amazing book. A very, very good book. Second one is Outliers. That's I think that's Malcolm Gladwell.
Right.
Outliers. That's an amazing book as well. Both those books are basically about doing your 10,000 hours, and I'm a firm believer in doing your 10,000 hours to basically become a master of your craft.
Right.
And I love that philosophy. And then the last one is a book called Leadership and Self-Deception, which is a life-changing book for me. Like it's a very interesting book, just on how you perceive your life, relationships, your business, pretty much everything.
Very cool.
So that's a great book as well.
Very cool. Now, have you read any books, or do you ever recommend any books that are in the sort of video creation, video editing world? I mean, I guess
I've never read any.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of more of a visual topic. The best way to learn that stuff is through video. So
you know what? Like one thing I would say to read, which is about video, is the hero's journey, which is basically the formula for writing a perfect story for your alias or for your character when you're selling something.
Right.
It's the same. It's the format that basically gets used in every single movie, like literally ever.
Yeah.
Like they've used it in Star Wars. They use it in Independence Day. Yeah. Like any film you could think of, that's the format. Harry Potter and whatever.
Yeah.
So if after this, you guys got to Google it, The Hero's Journey, and you'll be able to read it, and you'll be able to think of any movie, and you can match up pretty much every part of it to the movie. But that's a very, very good thing to read about, like if you're making videos, because it will help you to structure your videos in the best way.
Very cool. Now, where can people go learn more about you and learn more about this videos tool?
You can just head over to videos.com. Right now, it's basically just our teaser video because we're gearing up for like the relaunch of version 2. Or you can go to blog.videos.com, which is basically the blog where we basically post about everything we're getting up to, even like the bad stuff. It's not all good stuff. Things that have gone wrong and that kind of thing. In fact, one thing that might be cool if anyone's interested is on the blog. If you go to blog.videos.com, there's the last post, I think it's called The Untold Story About Videos. And what it is a 35-minute documentary that we basically shot,
cool.
which pretty much tells our whole story, me, my wife, as well as David and Jamie, and basically how we got together with videos, how we built it, why we built it, and all that. And that's a pretty fun watch. A lot of people have enjoyed watching that. So you can check that out if you want to learn anything more.
Cool. Now, can you spell videos for us? Because I know it's not spelled the traditional way. So just to make sure everybody's going to the right site.
Yeah, so it's VIDDYOZE. Videos.
Very cool. And I'll definitely have a link in the show notes. I'm also putting together a little bit of a bonus package for videos when you release this second version. This is going to have a bunch of additional training that I did, and some case studies of how I've used videos, and maybe even like another little bonus video with Joey in it. I'll have to talk to you about that after the call.
All right, cool.
But I'm going to put together a little bonus package for anybody who grabs it. So when is the official launch date of this second version? Because this audio will be out before it launches, but depending on when you're listening to it, you'll want to know if it's out or not.
Sure. So it's coming out on Tuesday, the 28th of June at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and it will be open up until Friday, the 1st of July.
Okay, so it's open for a limited window. Is it going to open again after that, like at a different price, or what's the plan there?
Basically, what's going to happen is right now, like when we launch videos, you can basically buy videos and access to the whole platform essentially for a one-time price. Now, the way that we're going to be moving forward is we're actually switching to a marketplace model where people will basically come to the site, they'll pick an animation, and they would have to essentially pay for every single render that they want to do. So just like Video Hive, you'd go in, you'd pick a template, and you'd pay for it. That's what we're going to have, except that the good thing with videos will be that you can download the animation instantly. But we're basically going to be competing with those kind of sites by having a service the same way. It's just that we'll be a lot faster. And that's how we're planning to basically grow the business, because we're going to go the marketplace route and really try to tackle it that way. So these 4 days where you can basically buy the app, like essentially for a one-time price, is literally going to be the only time you'll be able to do it.
Oh, gotcha.
Because the plan is like we want to move to the marketplace model, which is fine, by the way, because even the marketplace model, you still might want to use it because you might just want to get one animation and you're done. But a lot of people like making lots of animations, and it's going to be a lot cheaper if you just buy the app like now.
Yeah.
So that's basically the deal.
Very cool. So there's a 4-day window to basically get it for a one-time, lifetime price, plus all the bonuses I'll be throwing out there. All the links will be below this video or audio, or the show notes page, however you're consuming this content. But I'll make sure all the links are there, and you can go check out videos. And thanks so much for joining me and spending the time and sharing all this video wisdom with us. I think it was super helpful, and I think a lot of people will get a lot out of this.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate you having me on the show, man.
Absolutely.